Disneyland.
And he didn't pay me for
Vancouver.
like months. So I was like, hey, and I didn't want to, I was like, listen, we thought it was going to be, $50 or something. It turned out to be like just under $2,000. I was like, dude, you do not.
It was a really
pay me.
bad bet.
It was a really
Let's
bad
just
bet.
put it that way.
Bet $10
It was
a point.
Never
on
supposed to.
Words
Yeah,
with Friends.
it was supposed to be like $30, that he was going to lose, and so he spent like a month collecting loose change until he had $1,800 worth of coins in buckets.
Yeah. He went around to all the banks and had his wife go around to all the banks in Canada asking
And
for pennies.
emptied their
I think he ended up
change.
getting a letter from law enforcement, like why he was trying to rid Canada of change or something.
Yeah, like, is this some sort of movement that he's starting?
So he put it all in my trailer, and then I put it all back into his car with a note saying, I'd like to make a donation to Random Acts. And he said, like, a few got in the seatbelt, and so he couldn't, pick his seatbelt for a while.
And into his gear shift, too. Like, it was like rattling change every time.
He's like, 6 months later, he'd come to a stop at a stoplight, and you're like, change would, his passengers would be like, what's going on? Nothing, it's a long story. So that was a pretty fun one. We keep it light on set.
Oh, yeah. It usually involves in something to do with Misha and trying to ruin his life. And it's worked out so well.
We got another gentleman right here.
I just wanted to ask about your Tough Mudder run earlier. Was there anything funny that happened, and who was the weakest link?
The Tough Mudder?
Man.
The weakest link, oddly enough, was the one we were counting on the most.
Oh, yeah.
Which was Osric.
Yeah.
We thought, all right, listen, if in doubt, we're going to just rely on the ninja to get us through. And it'll be fine. And he ended up having some knee issues.
He has lifelong knee issues, right? And so he didn't have cartilage in his knees from gymnastics and stuff. And so after, 6 or 7 miles,
we ended up
carrying
in fact, he and I actually started carrying him
and then there
on
was
our backs.
I think there were some funny parts with Mans. So at the 2 mile mark, it's 10.5 miles or something. At the 2 mile mark, Jason Mans is like, all right, fellas, that's it. We're like, what is he out? He's like, nope, I've now officially run more today than I had all year. And then there's a part called the fireman carry, where you team up and you carry one person for 50 yards and then they carry you for 50 yards. So naturally they put me and Mans together because we're the biggest ones. And this is like eight miles in.
I got Richard Spade, so I got off easy. I'm like, all right, Rich, hop on.
So Mans, I was like, okay, let me get down. And so I get down like this. And he goes to get on my back, but we're all fighting. And so he ends up launching over my back. Let's do it again. So he leapfrogged over me. We just ended up face planting.
And Jason, I don't know, for those of you who don't know, Jason's a very close friend of ours, and some of his music's been on the show. But he fluctuates in weight quite often, and he was at his rather larger size when we decided to do this Tough Mudder run. And I remember there was a I think it was called the Berlin Wall was the obstacle. There was basically like a 10-foot wooden wall that we had to get over. So Jared and I were able to just jump, grab the top, and pull ourselves over. Jason's like, I'm gonna need a little help, guys. So I backed myself up against the wall and I gave him one of the footholds, and he stepped on it, then stepped on my shoulder, then put his other foot on this shoulder, and I'm just like, they're all over the wall, and I'm like, okay, and he's like, and he goes, hey man, I'm gonna have to jump. So I think he was pushed 260. Yeah. And so I've got 260 on my shoulders, and then now he's going to do this. And then we got over, so it happened, and I was like, wow, that was not cool. And then we get over the wall, and I'm like, there's another one? So I had to do the same thing again. But it was a lot of fun. We had a good time, and I think there's lots of talk of us doing it again next year, and possibly having a bigger team. We only had 6 guys this time. I think the word's gotten out. Everybody's like, well, I want to do it. Misha's in, Cohen's in, so there's going to be a few more of us next time.
I'm going to go way over here in the green, the light seafoam. Yes.
Obviously, you two were sane enough to be able to separate reality from your real lives. But do you ever sit at home after a day of filming and just kind of think, oh, we should have done whatever, X, Y, and Z? And if so, have any of those decisions affected something that carried out into the next?
Episode?
Yeah.
I think constantly about like, oh man, it would have been fun to do this or cool to do that, or I should have tried this. But that's just one of the, that's kind of where art imitates life, right? And so there's a sort of pleasure and satisfaction in having to get, and I'm a procrastinator. I'll work on something for, yeah, let's hear procrastination. I'm a
I mean,
perfectionist.
who gets stuff done in a timely manner these days?
By nature, I'm a perfectionist, so I don't want to turn anything in. So being forced on a regular basis to turn something in, for lack of a better word, is almost